How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tales from the Darkside. This is Season 1, Episode 21, and this one's entitled It All Comes Out in the Wash. This is from May 26, 1985, and is directed by Frank De Palma, a series regular director, and stars Vince Edwards, and is written by Harvey Jacobs. One of the few times Darkside has a single writing credit. There's usually a short story, or a story inspiration, or a team of writers, but it's one guy this time around. And this is about a businessman who goes to a special laundromat that has the power to wash away your sins. So he wants to use this service so he can be a ruthless businessman and not have to feel any guilt. However, he's gonna have to make sure that his laundry is done on time so he can continue this, way of going about things. Overall, this isn't a terrible episode of Darkside, but it's kind of a forgettable episode. It's not the worst thing ever, but there's some major faults with this one, and it is kind of a forgettable episode. And let's go into what those are. First and foremost, the budget. Darkside constantly has a low-budget problem, and usually they're better about shooting around this. In some episodes of Darkside, you're like, wow, they pulled off a whole lot with very little. This one, not so much. It's a morality tale. You should be able to see him going out, making choices, and you should be able to see him doing things. But most of this is told on the telephone rather than actually seeing it. So it's a series of long phone calls, and it's just a whole list of information, and you don't really get to see him experiencing moral dilemmas other than just talking about them on the phone. Maybe this would have played better if it was on radio or something. But most of the episode, you're stuck in this guy's office. The only other set is the laundromat area. And yeah, you really do feel stuck there listening to a series of phone calls. You also don't get a good enough shot of what he was like before, so the transition between him earlier and being ruthless later doesn't really get illustrated as much. But also, the system for the laundry. That's the big thing. It doesn't really make sense. You're not really sure what their arrangement is or what he exactly has to do. I mean, you don't even see the laundry getting picked up from his office in the episode. You would think the way this would work out would be you do something horrible and then you feel guilty, and you need him to come and clean your clothes. And then you get the relief. But it seems like he just has to take off the shirt he was wearing when he did something bad, and as he's being bad, you see him go through shirts, and they start to pile up to the point where you know he's adding new shirts into the mix. He has to be buying more ones. But if your guilt is tied to that specific piece of clothing, which I guess makes sense, but if you can just put on a new shirt, why do you need Chow Ting to clean your laundry? Why can't you just get rid of it? It doesn't make much sense, and, he has a whole series of rules, but it's not defined enough, and I guess we'll get more into that as we talk about the episode specifics, but it just, you have to lay out your rules as to what he has to do a lot better so that we can get more involved, and it's just kind of vague here, But anyway, yeah, not enough rules. The morality tale isn't fleshed out. You don't get to see him leave the building and doing stuff, so you don't get any of that. And you don't get enough of before to contrast. So, yeah, a series of phone calls in an office building. It could have been a lot better. I do like the concept, a laundromat that can wash away your sins. That's fun. I like the character of an evil businessman that plays into this. It's just, it's told through a series of phone calls. It could have been so much better. Without further ado, let's analyze the episode a little deeper. Let's jump into that plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you have a basic understanding as to what this episode's about. So I'm going to analyze the plot, but avoid the end. Anyway, a guy, the businessman, your main character, walks into a laundromat owned by Chow Ting, and he talks to the guy and asks for the special service. And you go for a bit without learning what this is, and to be honest, asking for the special service seems a little awkward by today's standards, but you eventually find out what the special service actually is, and you see he heard from one of his drunk friends at a party that Chow Ting can, when he washes your clothes, wash away your sins, and you don't feel guilt, you don't feel bad, and it all comes out in the wash. So he hands him a card with his prices. Keep the card for reference, and you see that the prices go from $100 for like a tie to $1,200 for linens. And this is another thing, having that price chart, like you think, okay, can I just tie all my sins to a tie that's so much cheaper? Like for our main character, he keeps changing his shirts, yet he doesn't need his undershirt, he doesn't need his pants, those don't have to be cleaned for some reason. With him, it's all tied to a shirt. I don't know why we have this price chart if it's only going to be shirts. But yeah, you can see it is expensive. And he's willing to pay that because he's a big businessman. Money is no object. And there, the laundromat lays out the rules. 1, don't ask how it's done. Which sucks because I would love to know how it's done, but we're not allowed to know, and that could have made the episode more interesting, but whatever. 2, don't contact him. He'll just know when you need more laundry done. I don't know how he knows, but okay, that's vague and mysterious. It also means we're not going to see any more of this cool haunted laundromat set. Okay, whatever. But the last one is don't tell anyone about it. Your friend wasn't even supposed to tell you. Keep this hush-hush. It's like Fight Club. Don't talk about the laundromat. But anyway, so the rules are there. The rules are a little vague, but I do find Chow Ting to be a good character. I love how you think he's more vague and mysterious and magical than he actually is. And they constantly surprise you where, rather than worrying about mysticism or, how to scrub your sins away, he wants to talk about the game show he's watching on TV, Wheel of Fate. Don't you want to see if this lady from California won a big amount of money? Like, he constantly cares about normal, average, everyday things. And I did think that was funny. Sadly, he's not in the episode enough. That whole don't contact me directly, and then later on in his office, we maybe hear 1 or 2 phone calls with him. It keeps him out of the episode, and I really would have loved to see more of this character and find out why he's doing the things he does, but no budget for that. 1 guy in his office, pretty much. But anyway, the office. We go to his office, he's there with his phone, and he's gonna, pile the whole thing up with laundry. He's got a little bird there, but he also has a secretary, and I thought the secretary was kind of a fun character. Gives him someone to talk to, but what I really like, what she does is an example of Darkside archiving old technology. He's tracking the price of his company, but the secretary has to get a little piece of paper that this machine prints out, looks at it, and then, come out with this whiteboard, and with a marker, track the little line. It's something that's so much easier nowadays, but she has to literally go to the ticker tape and get the marker out and put it on the whiteboard. I thought that was pretty fun. But anyway, we find out what he's doing, why he's so evil, and he is doing furs. which is kind of an obvious thing. You know, the whole anti-fur industry was really big at the time, but it's not anything creative, and it's not, I mean, it's evil, but it's not super, like, big and bad, you know? Like, they could have made him like that guy that put lead in the gasoline and gave everyone lead poisoning. Or like Fight Club again. In Fight Club, his job was to weigh the cost of these people's lives if the cars had defective parts. You know, hey, this will probably kill someone, this defective part, but is it enough to warrant a recall, you know, weighing people's lives financially? I wish it was something like that, something that was, you know, different and creative and was, you know, being eviler. You know, it's bad, but it could have been worse, you know, and I wish it was something absolutely scummy, you know? Or scummier, I guess. So yeah, it's just kind of the obvious answer, you know? But his kid has found out about the furs recently, and the kid is upset, and he says a bunch of things like, hey, don't be upset, don't cry, quit your sniveling, be my son. And he even says, you know, he has a bird that he got for a Father's Day present, be good or I'll take it out on the bird. So yeah, he's a scumbag. But he found out about this because he talked to someone at school. And the kid he talked to at school was actually the son of someone that he screwed over in business. And he thinks the dad told the son to say that on purpose to drive a wedge between them, and puts a hit out for the dad's murder. Boy, did that escalate quickly. Yeah, it kind of goes from, okay, he's bad, oh wow, he's killing someone. So yeah, that kind of does escalate. We also find out that he's having an affair with his best friend's wife. He's going to get a divorce from his current wife, but he's going to wait till after her birthday as to not ruin the party. And a lot of this is told as a very long string of information through various phone calls. He's on the phone a lot. But of course, doing all this stuff is going to create a whole load of laundry, and Chao Ting isn't picking it up like he said he would, and he goes, I should call this guy, I should make him come down, there's his phone number on the bottom of the price list, why would he put that there if he didn't want anyone to call? So he does. And again, the episode's kind of vague about it. You know, Chao Ting will do stuff like purposely dodge him, not pick up his stuff, and raise his prices. But he was doing that anyway, so when he's mad at him, it doesn't really sell that he's mad-er because it was stuff he was doing anyway. And even you think that when he calls, it's letting the genie out of the bottle, it's opening Pandora's box, but no, it's as bad as it was, just a little worse and whatever. So yeah, there wasn't that big genie out of the bottle moment. It does lead to an ending, you know, where you can see it all build up to, but yeah, it could have been the wrath of the laundromat, but we didn't get that. So yeah, the rules are vague. This is primarily a series of phone calls, and I just wish it was organized a little better, where we understood the relationship more so that when he crossed the line, we're like, oh no, that's gonna happen. But yeah, I guess they are trying to subvert expectations with having Chao Ting be like a normal guy, but at the same time, it's hard to track what the rules are, and yeah, it's almost entirely a bottle episode in this guy's office, stuck at the phone, so it's not the best thing ever. Like I said, it's not horrible, but this episode definitely has flaws, and it's not the best thing ever, but hey, it's an interesting concept, interesting characters, I guess. It could have been a lot better. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Tales from the Darkside playlist. If you want to see me talk about more Darkside, you can click right there. I've talked about all the past episodes of this season, so that would be the first 20 episodes. I've also talked about the Christmas episodes and the Joe Hill comic, so there is a ton in that playlist. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Darkside playlist on the bottom if you want to see more. Have a good day now.